I'm so excited to have you guys here on the One Podcast. I have a special guest that I met through the same groups we've been in for, 2 years, I think, going into our second year together. So this is Christel Arcucci, and I want to tell you about her soul's mission. It is to guide spiritual women to act their adventurous age by radiating confidence, trusting the best is yet to come, and enjoying your body, pleasure, and power. She's a swearing, spicy spiritual teacher, a former people pleaser turned rebel truth teller, an embodied adventure guide on this wild ride of being divinely human. I absolutely love that. I loved it the minute I read it, and then I went and I looked you up because I really wanted to get a feel for you and who you are and what you're so passionate about. And literally, big, bold letters, act your adventurous age. So start with that. Tell us about how you came into this knowing I am the one who's going to be this woman, and this is my message to share with the world.
Yes. Well, I'm so happy to be here with you, Lisa. And it started, my healing journey started when I was a child. I had a near-death experience at 6 months old, and I got onto a spiritual and healing path as a child, which has been a great blessing as I've aged because my health is actually getting better as I age instead of the reverse, which is what is true often, is that people's health declines as they age. So then we fast forward, my father passed away the week after he turned 49. So shortly around my 49th birthday, I had a bit of a crisis because I was like, am I going to make it? What's going to happen? So 49 was a bigger deal for me than 50. So in that period of time around my birthday, when I was in this deep inquiry, and I still am in contact with my father, even though he's crossed over, he said to me that you're hiding. You are not living your legacy every day. You still care too much about what other people think. And I was like, ooh,
Ouch. Yeah.
yes.
Mhm.
And while so much of my work has been about healing people pleasing and really stepping into my power of being who I am, there was truth to that. And there was a big invitation for me to stop caring what other people think. So from 49 to 50, I really focused on embodying my legacy every single day and being, if this was my last day, how would I feel about today? How would I feel about who I have been and what I have done?
Oh, I
And
want to pause there really quick because I
yes.
feel like that is so important because I felt the same way, 49 going into 50. My 50 was more important than my 49. But what do you think gave you the courage, as you were just saying, to really, truly, I'm going to choose this every single day? That's very intentional. Is it because of what happened with your father? Is it just like you had a knowing, I'm going to be really intentional? I think this is really important for listeners because you could choose this at any point in time, any day, any age. But for you, it was 49. Talk a little, that's really important for women.
Yes, and I think it was partly because I've always had a different relationship with life. Because I was so sick as a child that it gave me this feeling of life is precious.
Wow.
And so that's been a huge part of my practice my entire life. And because of the gravity for me of 49, that was when my father crossed over, that it gave me even more gravity of stepping into today and not being like, well, I'll do that later, or it's too late, which is often what happens. Well, I'm 49, it's too late. I'm not 25, I'm not whatever.
So
So,
old. Yeah.
yes. So really taking every day as a powerful choice. So that has been a part of my practice since I was a child because of the health challenges that I had. Yet it is such a powerful core teaching that I work on is that every breath is an opportunity to restart. And often, especially women, it's, well, I didn't do it. I didn't do it at the start of the year, or now it's Friday and not Monday, or whatever the excuses are, or now I'm a mom, or now I'm too old, or now I'm not this or that, I'm not skinny enough. And to set aside all the excuses to be every moment is an opportunity to choose again. If the last moment, if I wasn't being and doing what I want to do, then I get to choose again at any point, any breath, any day, any year.
Guilty, guilty. I'm a sentimental, like, I have to have a purpose behind certain things like New Year's resolutions, or it's the first of the month, or I need to make it significant. And it is so true. You literally could choose on a random Tuesday at 3:03 p.m. that I'm going to change today. I'm going to choose today to be more intentional. I love that. So, how do you practice that? Do you do it every morning? For someone who's listening, who's never considered doing this or is thinking this is a brilliant idea, how do you personally get more focused every day to be intentional?
For me, there are daily practices that I do every morning,
Okay.
yet it's also throughout the day. I have trained myself that in moments of stress, pause and breathe, move, and sound.
I love it.
And because when we get stressed, we often do the opposite, especially as women. We freeze, we limit our breath, and we don't use our voices and our sound. So for me, breath, movement, sound are the core practices. And in the morning are special practices that I do. But throughout my day, breath, movement, sound, those are the keys to unlock our power in every moment.
And of those three, if someone were to just choose tomorrow morning, okay, what is this? In my work, I teach, it's all about micro shifts. One tiny shift
Yes.
in any aspect, one little one. If you think of a plane, we're taking off here and we're going to have a destination here. And if you were to take 1 degree off, they're going to end up all the way in Japan. So I always think the same thing. All you have to do is shift one little degree. So, of the three that you mentioned, what would be the simplest in the morning for a brand new person, you think?
Breath, because you cannot live without breath, and you always have your breath with you. There is zero excuse. Nobody's going to be like, Lisa, why are you breathing?
Right.
Why are you taking a deeper breath? Right? You
Yes.
always have your breath. To me, the breath is the greatest and most underutilized healing tool we always have with us.
I'm somewhat new to breath work, so literally to pay attention to your breath and then take a deep, tell us exactly what you would recommend. If I was brand new and I wanted to start this tomorrow morning, what do you mean by breath?
I mean, well, the invitation, you just did it.
Mm-hmm.
Partly because we're talking about it. You took a deeper breath. I could see
Yep.
your heart expand. And there was a pleasure in the way that you took that breath. So I focus on breath. There is a lot of teachings of breath work,
Yeah.
which are certain practices that often can create more stress in the system to create a breakthrough. So what I'm talking about is simply being more conscious about your everyday breath. There is great power in breath work. I'm not saying there isn't, but for me, it comes back to the very foundation of life. We can live without food, we can live without water for long periods of time, but the breath, it's literally only a few minutes.
Yeah.
So it's training yourself to take a deeper inhale, to enjoy a fuller exhale, and anchoring them in. As you know, with habit change, it's good to anchor them in to other activities. Like anytime you're at a stoplight or at a stop sign, anytime you hear your phone notifications go off,
Yeah.
take a deeper breath. If you're a mother, this one is a very advanced practice. Anytime your child says, Mom, take a deeper breath.
I'm laughing because my sister-in-law, they have three boys under the age of 2. I can only imagine she's gonna be like deeper.
and
Yes.
and she would
Yes.
have a greater capacity to deal with that intensity,
Mm,
right? If she was breathing more, instead of when we get stressed, our whole system contracts, we're breathing less, which means we have less capacity for our mind to work skillfully. So every time, if she trained herself to breathe more deeply and evenly, and not that you have to stop everything, but I'm going to take a deep breath. As I have three children shouting mom at me and something is on fire, it's that practice of it. It doesn't have to be complicated. It's just taking a more mindful breath when you feel stressed, when the phone rings, when your kid calls, says mom. whatever it you can attach it to and begin the practice. And again, begin again, begin again, begin again. I forgot last moment. I'm stressed now. I didn't do it. So what?
Oh,
Choose
yeah.
again, take a deeper breath.
It is so simple. Literally, you don't have to close your eyes, but I loved and just enjoying actually breathing in as deep as you can and then letting it go. And if you've got the time and the
Yes.
focus to actually think of the enjoyment of what that feels like for your body, you're actually feeding all of your cells, breathing that in, or taking just a quick moment to be grateful. I can just really quickly, okay, that's so simple. Now, okay, I want to know a little bit about how you got into your pleasure-led movement. So, for those of us who enjoy our breath, which I think we should be doing that every day, all the time, talk to me about how you evolved from being very focused, very intentional, really living in 49, and what led you into pleasure-led movement.
Pleasure is, it changes our state. It literally changes our physiology. And part of the foundational teachings I work on is enjoying the small things in life, especially for women and even more so for moms.
Oh, yeah.
There's a doing, and there's a pace of living that where our being is disconnected from our doing. So it's dialing everything back to the simple things. And I always start with the things you're already doing. So it's not like you need an hour of meditation, you need 2 hours at the gym every day, right? That's not reality for most of us. So it's looking at what I call the daily recode, which is earth, water, fire, air, and divinity. So with
Well, that's good.
earth, my body is an expression of body. So in the morning, connecting with my body, putting my hands on my body, moving into the water element when I am utilizing water, drinking water, washing my hands, washing my face, bathing, drinking water. All of these practices are an opportunity to be in a sensual, pleasurable experience. And they're life changing if we slow down enough to do that. When I'm taking a drink of water, am I really enjoying the water, the sensual experience, the look of it, the flavor of it, the feeling of it?
Yes.
And so it's tuning into our sensuality, which is a part of our feminine essence.
Mm.
But if we're just in go, go, go mode all the time, we're missing it. So it's like it's doing the things while you're bringing your being into what you're doing.
You have all sorts of fun stuff. I have another question too. So, is this part of your main essence of everything that you teach when you coach and you mentor people? Is
Yes,
to get
the
really
foundation,
centered? Okay, I love
right?
this. Okay,
Yeah, so it's setting the foundation in connecting our being and doing.
okay. Oh,
And and that's where the daily practices come in. Like the daily recodes are things I mentioned, is physically connecting with your own body when you're getting dressed in the morning, when you're bathing yourself. Are you actually touching your skin when you're putting makeup on? Are you cultivating your feeling of being beautiful rather than looking in the mirror and being like, oh, but there's bags under my eyes, but there's gray hair, whatever. Are you focused on the things that are wrong? Or are you actively cultivating feeling beautiful, feeling the moisturizer on my face, feeling my fingers in my hair, seeing my eyes as I put mascara on,
yeah.
and being in the sensual experience? It changes everything. And that's with the basics of things, again, we're already doing. Going to the spa is beautiful, yet we're already doing self-care every day, getting dressed every day, doing our hair or makeup, eating every day, drinking every day, how we are relaxing when we do have a moment, going to sleep. So it's bringing mindfulness and intentionality into the things we're already doing and turning them into your pleasure-led legacy, rather than it being like, oh, I have to quickly get dressed and put my makeup on and rush out the door and eat while I'm driving. Where there's a disconnection, it's deeply cultivating that presence, which is what restores my power and gives me the opportunity to feel pleasure. And it doesn't mean I don't eat when I'm driving, but when I do, I am enjoying the flavor, enjoying the taste. I'm bringing my being into what I'm doing. And there's such incredible pleasure in that, right? Because then I can be driving and seeing, I live in Sedona, so everything is beautiful outside. So I can be eating and enjoying the scenery and enjoying the blue sky and being in the experience, even while I am doing something.
It's so easy to just get in that routine every single day. And I know for me personally, I struggled for a long time to even consider the word beautiful. Like for me, beautiful was just not something that I associated with forever until I was late 40s. The way I started to actually learn to not be so critical of myself was to, in my mind, mentally separate who I was as a soul versus this body that I've been given that's taking care of carrying this soul around. Like, why am I so mean to it? And I wasn't intentionally trying to be mean, but I was naturally critical. And so I think what you're saying is so easy. Well, no, there is so much opportunity to shift things without trying to completely change your life. Just actually taking that moment when you're brushing your teeth to be so grateful, when you are literally washing your face gently, when you're putting your moisturizer on, when you are in that shower. Can you take the time? I remember I'm getting arthritis in my fingers, and I started thinking, oh my gosh, you know what? This actually kind of reminds me of my parents because both of my parents have arthritis in their fingers. And at some point, I'm not going to have my parents. So could I sit here and hate it, or could I actually be so grateful for how much work my fingers have done my whole life and for everything that my body has done for me? Can I take a minute throughout the day and just thank it? And oh, I love what you were saying because I drink so much water and I drink the water because my body needs it. Do I actually take the time to enjoy the water? This is so
Yeah.
great.
Yes.
So intentional. And I think that's what I want people to really understand is that this doesn't have to take a lot of time. You can literally do it if you forgot to do it in the morning and you're driving to work. I love that you said if I'm eating in my car. We all have to drive somewhere during the day. Turn off that radio and take a second to actually, your hands are right in front of you. Why not touch your skin? Take a breath, breathe in that fresh air. Oh my gosh, I'm loving every minute of this.
Yes.
How would you describe this is how I knew I became the one to be teaching this? Just because you'd embodied it so well? Is this what you see your vision to be? Talk to me about that.
Well, as I mentioned in my childhood, I've had many moments of being like, I'm the one, right? Like in my childhood, it was I'm the one that's going to get off medication and stop being in the hospital all the time. And then I had an injury when I was a teenager, and I'm the one that's going to be strong in my body. And I am the one that has the opportunity to live my legacy. And shortly after my 49th birthday, I received this download about your adventurous aging, this invitation. And I was posting content. I was doing a create and publish challenge where I was creating and publishing information, teachings, inspiration online every day.
Oh my
And I was receiving comments from trolls. I was shocked. I mean, if you haven't experienced somebody saying horrible, good for you. But those many of us have received things that are just awful. They were
God.
saying awful things. And one of the things people kept saying to me is act your age, act your age, act your age. And then I had this moment where I get chills now just thinking about it. I'm like, I'll act my age. I'll act my adventurous age. How do you like that? Do you think my dress is too tight and my skirt is too short and I dress too much like a young woman? Do you not like how I'm speaking? Do you not like what I'm saying? I'll act my age.
Love it. Love it. And we think the same because I remember thinking, who was the very first original person who decided what each person should be doing in their 40s and 50s? Because someone thought that up, shared it with someone, shared it with someone, shared it with someone, and then it became, oh, here's what happens in your 40s and 50s, and here's midlife crisis, and here's what women should be. And we just let society standards tell us who we are and what we should be doing or what should be happening at that age. And I love when people actually take the time to be like, well, wait a minute, what if I choose different? What if I
Yeah.
choose? I love that you are one of the people that is representing, hello, aging gets to be incredible. We are taught to dread it our whole lives, and nobody knows until you hit it. Like, I didn't want to be in my 40s. Oh, it was incredible. I didn't want to be in my 50s. Oh my gosh, I freaking love it. I love that you chose adventurous. Adventurous. Tell us what's your ideal meaning of adventurous for you?
For me, adventurous is not caring what anyone else thinks or says. It's like feeling that power from the inside that I know who I am
Mhm.
and I am going to courageously express myself no matter what anyone says, no matter who doesn't like it, no matter who tries to shame me or control me or confine me or any of those things, to be like, I know who I am. And there's also room for me to discover other avenues, other aspects. I'm not done. I'm not half dead.
Yeah.
I'm only now coming into the greatest chapter of my life of giving myself the freedom of not being confined by any of the rules of a older woman, blah, 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 to be, I'm creating the rules. And so for me, it's adventurous in what I do with my body. I am a very physically active person. It's partly because I value it so much because it was taken from me as I didn't have it as a child. So now it's like being strong in my body. So adventurous for me is learning new activities, it's climbing mountains, it's going dancing, it's doing acrobatics, it's doing these adventurous things, skydiving, traveling on my own. It's wearing whatever I want. It's this last year in 2024, I did a slam poetry for the first time. So I got up on stage and read my poetry, which was another thing. Like, I could have easily been like, yeah, but these other people are so good at it. And never mind, I got up there and did it. And so adventurous is, and it's part of adventurous aging to me is the reality is our bodies are changing. And
Yes.
so instead of seeing that as a problem and being like, oh, it's because I'm old, it's, oh, it's simply an invitation for me to discover what works for my body now. What's the invitation? And how can I follow my guidance and let go of the constructs that either society has told me or what worked for me last week to truly discover my power in the moment and what my body, mind, heart needs now?
Right now. The foundation of all my work is reconnecting to your intuition. So for you, how do you get your answers of what my body needs right now? Give a good example on that.
Listening to my intuition, absolutely.
Yes.
Slowing down enough. Like I was having a skin reaction on my face. And so part of it was knowing that for me, that often means I'm either taking something, taking a supplement or a food or a product that my body doesn't like. So it was slowing it down enough to sit with each product that I'm using, each supplement that I'm taking, and tuning in. Is this the one that is out of alignment with my body now? So I do that on my own. And I also work with a healer that helps me because often I will be like, but I want to use this product.
I like it. It does so many good things for my skin. Okay.
Exactly. So it's like I have my own system, but then I also have support. So I messaged her the other day to say, these are the products that I'm using. What are you getting? And often she verifies my feeling,
Mhm.
but she also does give me additional information. So it's partly trusting my own intuition, but then
Yes.
also not being afraid of having support, having my support team that helps me.
Anyone who is into self-development, it's always great to have some sort of support because we need that helicopter view when we're emotionally involved in something where we're not going to get the clear answer. And it never hurts to have someone more educated or more deeply immersed in what you are.
Right. And also has the perspective of non-attachment, right?
Yeah.
Like she has zero attachment to whether this product,
Yeah.
I like it or not. She only cares if it's working for my system.
So you're loving where you're at in life. You're aging backwards, which I love, but honoring where you're at. And then, so do you do private client work? Talk to us a little bit about how people could find you, how they could work with you.
The podcast is the best way for people to learn about my work so that I have a podcast called the Adventurous Aging Podcast. And so they can learn about the foundational teachings and hear what, the foundation of my practices and teachings are. And currently, I have one-on-one work that I do. I also do private retreats here in Sedona. And I do have a group programs that'll be starting later this year in 2025.
Oh, that'll be fun. And then if people, which is your favorite social media platform? Because you have Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn. Which one would they find most, and your website? But if they
Yeah.
happen to be scrolling, where do you put most of your fun stuff?
Well, honestly, I put most of my stuff into my podcast.
Okay.
And so then second to that, I would say YouTube because the podcast goes to YouTube and I intend to be focusing more of my time and attention there. Although that was the place that I got the biggest trolls. I get to be brave and courageous and not care about the trolls.
Oh, it's so fascinating because really, who takes the time to sit there and say mean things online? And I'm not trying to criticize people, but really, we have such short time in life that it's so shocking to me that you're going to sit down there and take the time to type out something mean,
Yes.
vicious.
Yeah. For me, I continue going deeper into this practice of knowing who I am
Yes.
and not being impact. Like it is like people pleaser healing, 10,000, right? Like it's the advanced level thing to have people say horrible, mean things. They're not even saying them to my face, they're writing them online. And to just be so clear in who I am and what I'm here to do, and knowing that people aren't going to like me or like what I'm saying and to be okay with that. Like that is massive healing for a former people pleaser.
I remember thinking to myself, we never know truly how much we have grown or that we've implemented our teachings and embodied what we believe has been our evolution until we're put in a circumstance to challenge that. So if you weren't ever getting that, we'd just be like floating through life. I'm doing so well. People love me. And then, oh, okay, now someone is actually not very nice and they hate me and they say mean things. So, how embodied am I? And you're right, like people pleasing, to have someone criticize you and say horrible things about you. Can I regulate my system? Do I truly care? If I do care, how do I get over this? It's terrible way to be tested, but it really does show. Yep, I've grown in this area. I haven't grown in this area. Oh, this still hurts. And I think it happens in all aspects of life. I notice it in my personal life in all different ways. I'm like, oh, I thought I'd mastered that. Oh, I had just learned it. I hadn't fully embodied it.
Right. And I think it's real life, like even though trolls is a specific thing, being in real life, we're gonna come in contact with people that we don't click with, that we don't get along with, whether they're strangers or people in our community or family members. There's gonna be those conflicts. And how well can I stay in my center, stay in who I am, and not be triggered by that person? Like it may give me a jolt of adrenaline, but how do I handle that? What do I do with that power that my system is being infused with? And how do I be who I really want to be and do what I really want to do in the face of someone not liking me or someone saying something mean or any of those things? Like that's real life practice.
And what would you recommend? Give one or two ideas because it may not be everyone getting trolled online, but there could be someone at your work who doesn't like
Yes.
you, someone that is a friend of a friend who doesn't like you, someone that you actually have to interact with, or it could be a friendship that went south, or it could be online trolling because any one of us who have an online business, it's bound to happen at some point. So, what are some good practices? Obviously, take a very deep breath. But what else too? What do you recommend? What helps you the most?
Yes. The breath is exactly the place to start because when we get in the feedback loop of reaction and not responding, we go into fight or flight. So
Yeah.
recognizing that in our system, taking a deep breath, feeling your hips or your feet, grounding in your body, grounding in your center. So rather than the energy going out, which is what happens if there's someone or something outside of us that is activating our system, is go in by taking a breath. Who am I? Who do I want to be? What action do I want to take? And so it's pulling energy in first so that I'm deciding how I want to respond.
Yes.
And I focus on keeping my side of the street clean. That's what I call it. If somebody is throwing mud or something worse at me, it's my job to clean up my side of the street. I have no control over what they do on their side of the street. So it's keep my side of the street clean and recognize that I'm not always going to do it perfectly. Like I'm in a situation working on a project now that it's hard. I'm working with people that I don't respect, that some of the communication dynamics are super messy. And I keep being like, what is the lesson for me here? It's for me to know who I am,
Yep.
to keep my side of the street clean, and to clean it up if I get reactive.
Oh, definitely. And yes, it's one more challenge of, am I implementing that I am that woman who can stay centered, that the breath really does take me back? Like we are really testing to see if,
Yeah.
okay, am I who I say I am? And yes, what a not fun, but beautiful opportunity.
Yes. And it's that opportunity to be like, I know who I am. I don't need someone else's approval. I don't
Right.
need them to like me. I don't need them to be nice to me, which, whoo, again, that's like super advanced level healing for a formal people pleaser to
Yeah.
just be like, I'm okay, even if that person doesn't like me, even if they say mean things to me, even if they're not doing their part in the project.
Yeah.
I keep coming back to my center and affirming who I am and how I want to show up in this project.
That's what I wish for so many women is that we could figure out younger that I am okay with who I am. And then once you can even begin that I'm okay with who I am, not just that, I embrace who I am. And then ultimately, I truly love who I am. And I know for so many of us, that is such a hard path to walk because there's not people modeling that from the time we're little. There are not a lot of people in my own life growing up. There wasn't very many women that I knew that loved themselves or that modeled it for us. And so it was something that I didn't discover until much older. And I know it's not perfect and I know it can be challenging, but oh my goodness, the more you can actually embrace being unique, we're meant to be different. The whole point of this podcast and my brand is you are the one. I am the
Yeah.
one, you're the one. So we're
Yeah.
all the one. We are all the one. But do you know that? Do you figure that out? Have you recognized that in order to be the one, you are meant to be unique? And that
Yeah.
includes the things that we consider bad, the reasons that in the past we believed people didn't like us or that we were different, but embodying all of that. And I can be okay if that person doesn't like me. I can be okay if they don't react the way I want them to. You have such a beautiful way of making what people seem to make hard. How do I even learn self-love? How do I even learn to make my life beautiful? You're saying you don't need to change any external circumstances. You just need to actually be present and then take these small things and start feeling and appreciating. Oh, it's so good.
Yes. Presence with self first.
Mhm.
And then that naturally spills over into our presence with other people. And that's challenging for women because how we've been conditioned. And again, for mothers, it's even more amplified because of the conditioning for mothers to care for everyone else. And if they're taking care of themselves, it's selfish. And it's knowing that by me caring for myself, by me being fully embodied in my presence, in my pleasure, and my power, that is giving permission to everyone around me to have that same kind of power and presence and enjoyment and living my legacy. It's how we can support ourselves, each other, and the world in changing and having more embodied presence in everything we're doing.
It is so priceless. You're right. And I hope that anyone who hears this does really understand that you literally can change the world, your personal world, just by changing your internal reactions, your internal peace, your internal love, and then it ripples out from you. And we have no ability of ever comprehending how far that ripple goes. Just by learning to love myself, me doing that will literally impact every relationship around me, because either I will not tolerate those type of relationships anymore, or people will learn to love me because I treat myself better. And then it just ripples into everything. I
Yeah.
love this so much. Okay, my favorite thing to ask people before we end is, sitting here today, if you were to say, I am the one who, what is that answer for right now and the woman you're becoming?
I am the woman who lives my legacy every single day by enjoying being in this beautiful and imperfect body,
Mm,
by embodying my divinity, by trusting that who I am and what I do has an impact in the world far greater than I can ever imagine. And
mm,
in doing that, I embody my power even more to create an even greater impact in supporting the world, supporting humanity, in coming into an even greater place of collaboration, community, play, pleasure, power, all the yummy stuff.
yes. And your legacy. What do you envision your full legacy to be?
For me, legacy is I bring it all the way back into today.
Mm,
Right? Often people think about legacy as what is the legacy I am leaving after I die? And for me, I pull legacy all the way back into this moment. What is the legacy I am creating in this podcast with you? It's who I am being, what I am doing today, and the divine union of those things in how am I going to feel at the end of today? Because when I do that, then it brings every interaction I have today, whether it's with people I care about, with people I don't know online, with people, strangers out in public. To
mhm.
me, that's where there's so much power in creating the legacy of who I want to be, what I want to do in my life. And I don't really, I think in doing that,
Mhm.
it's going to create what ripple it leaves after I pass.
Oh, yes, yes. So you're not even trying to complete, there's no attachment on a certain thing of the future. It's just going to naturally evolve from your presence of today.
Exactly.
That is beautiful. Okay, tell me if there's anything else that you feel that you want to share, that you feel is important for this moment right now in your presence.
The invitation I want to leave our listeners with today is that it is being in your body is such a gift. And so, really feeling your body, not from the mental level, actually from the sensual experience of being in a body. And if you have pain in your body or places that you don't like, it's being able to feel the pain, yet find a place of ease and to move back and forth. So it isn't just when there's challenge in our life, we can get so fixated and stuck in pain and problems. So it's being able to practice. Yes, in my left hip right now, I feel discomfort. And in my heart right now and in my head, I feel so expanded from this conversation with you. And so, can I expand that feeling of love and expansion I feel to move it down and settle into my hips? And just as I'm doing that, there's more spaciousness in my hips instantly. But if I stay fixated on the contraction and the problem and the pain, I'm going to experience more of that. So it's not being in denial that there's pain and discomfort, but it's being able to move back and forth, to move with the breath, to be present with all of who I am, which there's a huge spectrum of who I am.
Yes, yes, thank God, right? Thank God there's a
Yes.
whole bunch to us.
Yes.
Mm. What is so beautiful about you is you said it early on that you had known you were the one at different times. I'm going to be the one who does this. I'm the one who does this. I'm the one who does that. So you've experienced this long before many people are doing it. But you have such the ability to be, all right, today I am the one who, and I am the one who's doing this, and I am the one. I love that you have let it just naturally evolve and has been a lifelong part of you. What would be your first piece of advice? So be more present, take more breaths. But for someone who has never even considered, how do I even discover I'm the one who, what would you think would be a great answer for that?
Move and speak what you desire. Because if it's only head channel, if it's only my mind saying, I want to be a multi-millionaire that travels the world in a private jet,
Mhm.
it's disconnected from my reality.
Yeah.
And so it's like, I am the one who is sitting in this seat speaking with Lisa right now. That is truth. I am the one who is in this body. I am the one that desires to create an impact through who I am and what I do every day. I am the one that is enjoying this beautiful meal in front of me. I am the one that created this sanctuary. I am the one who is living this legacy. The legacy I choose to live is one of play, pleasure, power. Those are all true for me. And as I'm saying them and moving, I'm getting chills, which for me is a signal of alignment. And so it's most of us can't do this at first with only head channel. You can't only think it. But if you breathe, move, and use your voice by speaking what is true, and then pushing into desire,
Yes.
then you can expand your alignment.
Yes. And to add, speaking what is really truth, not, oh, this is what I currently observe. The truth
Yeah.
of who we are, the truth of what we're blessed with, the truth of the current circumstances surrounding us, the truth of what we care about. Yes, speaking the truth. And it
Yeah.
can be just to yourself, speaking it quietly, it can be speaking it loudly.
Exactly.
That is an
Yeah.
important.
And that is a key part about cultivating intuition. It's like when I was saying at first, when it was only head channel, I was talking about a private jet. I don't really want a private jet. So it was an easy way to
I get
disconnect. But whoever does is good. For me, it's not a true desire. So I knew I could shift the energy of disconnection, yet is being in that, in my experience and speaking what I desire and getting comfortable with that. With, again, as women, we're conditioned to not desire. Desire is bad, it is wrong. And so it's being in the power and presence of who we are, breathing it, expressing it, moving it, and expanding our reality
Yes.
so that so we are the one in the moment,
Mhm.
and we are going to get off track to be in the next moment. I can get back on track, expand my desire, utilize the power of my intuition to find where I'm out of alignment, right? That's a great key of when I'm speaking. I can feel when my body is like, no, no.
Nope. No, 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 no. Yes.
And that's okay too, right? That's simply information. It isn't a time to give up. It's an opportunity to go, how do I breathe,
Mhm.
become more present, move my body, use my voice to
Yeah.
speak into being that which I desire.
We want to listen to our bodies. We don't want to listen to the pain all the time, but the pain is telling you something. But we want
Yes.
to listen to our heart, our body, our breath, our soul. Really, there's so much in there. There's so many messages. There's so many feelings. There's so much moving through. I love this.
Yes. And I think that pain is blocked power.
Oh, I agree.
Yet we get stuck in the blocked power in the pain. And so it's being able to, as I spoke about earlier, moving in and out of the pain, finding what other experiences are there so that it doesn't just become the mind making a story of the pain is forever and the pain is this and the pain. That's not the story you want to be telling yourself and your cells.
Yeah.
So it's acknowledge that there is pain in life. There is challenges. There are going to be people that don't like me, whatever it is, to be able to move in and out of the power of that, because everything holds power.
Yeah.
But if we need everything to be perfect in order for us to realize our potential, it's never going to happen.
Oh, I think I lived that message for many, many, many decades. Everything does have power, and then we elevate or strengthen that power by what we are speaking and thinking and saying and putting
Yeah.
our attention on. And you're so right. You have to choose what you're putting that intention into where my thoughts are going, what my feelings are, what I'm thinking about. This is so great. I could talk to you forever about these things. Okay. So one more time, the best way to find you is your podcast,
Adventurous Aging Podcast.
your website. Is your name?
Right.
Yes, perfect. And then Adventurous Aging, Pleasure-Led Movement. I love all of this. I appreciate having you on here. This has been such a joy for me.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been such a pleasure to connect with you, and I'm so excited for this.
We will talk to you guys soon. Thank you for listening.